Yeah, I just thought, the focus last couple days, phenomenal. We talked over and over about trying to get off to a good start. Uh, you know, when we talked the other day in our media session, we talked about, trying to make some adjustments the second time you play a team. And, I thought defensively Jimmy Witt was great on Santiago Vescovi. Obviously, Ethan Henderson's energy on the glass was phenomenal tonight. And, Mason and Isaiah's ability to draw free throws attempted. And again, that defending the three-point line becomes so important for us. And we did another great job of taking away the three ball tonight. And I thought we played with great pace, 14-0 in fast break points and then points off of turnovers. Although Tennessee didn't have a high volume of just 12 turnovers, we turned those into points. And I thought that was really a key to the game, is live ball turnovers as opposed to dead ball turnovers.
Mason Jones in the season he's having, another night like tonight, do you see this guy as a legit contender for SEC Player of the Year?
Yeah, I think he's just every night, there's such a burden on him to score. Obviously, with Isaiah coming back, it opens things up for both of them. When Mason's scoring like he is, it opens things up for Zay, and then just Isaiah being out on the floor opens things up for Mason. And, so, I think both those guys are having incredible years, and Mason's growth as a player has been really, really fun to be a part of and watch.
Hey, Eric, you guys, the first back-to-back SEC win.
Welcome in. It's our Thursday edition here of OTH here on KDSJ 479, coming to you Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. And last night, Arkansas gained some measurement of revenge as they were able to outlast the Tennessee Volunteers 86-59 in Bud Walton Arena on Nolan Richardson Court. Mason Jones, 37 points. We let you hear audio from Coach Musselman. He talked real highly of Mason Jones, but also, too, a lot of storylines that I thought really played into this game. I thought Desi Sills off the bench. I thought Ethan Henderson played his best game as a Razorback. Jimmy Witt's defensive effort on Tennessee's best player. All that went into this. I know Mason and Isaiah, they get the yeoman's share of praise, and rightfully so. The two young men, I'm going to bring in my boy Demetrius, producer. 24-27. These two guys accounted for, of the 89 points, of the 86 points, 59 between Mason and Isaiah. When you get that much production, Demetrius, from those two, and Arkansas plays the defense that they've continuously played, this is a very dangerous team.
Definitely. I think this was a huge win for these guys. They needed this win. Coming back from a 20 deficit when they lost in Tennessee and then coming home.
Right.
Really, that just shows me how important home court advantage is in college basketball. I think the crowd is so amazing. Bud Walton was rocking last night. I had to work, but I did listen to it on the radio, and the crowd seemed really involved. And I'm glad these guys got a big win for us.
Last night, Mason Jones entered the 1,000-point club here at the University of Arkansas. Also a very elite club, the 30-point club, as he's done it 9 times in his career. Arkansas's Todd Day and I believe Martin Terry were the other two Razorback basketball players to have at least 9 30-point outings in a season. So, congratulations to Mason. Congratulations to Coach Eric Musselman and that staff. It hadn't been all peachy, Demetrius. It hadn't been all peachy, but going forward, let's talk about Ethan Henderson. This is a guy, hadn't had a lot of playing time, really didn't get a lot his freshman year, has played very sparingly, but over the last 2-3 games, Coach Musselman is starting to really play number 24 more and more. Last night, 9 rebounds, 3 block shots, 2 points, but the 9 rebounds and being able to have a rim protector, I thought was really, really big in that ball game.
Definitely. I think, on the way up to the show, we were talking in the car, and I think you hit it on the head. You say Ethan understands his role.
Right.
He understands he doesn't have to be a defensive player. Offensive player. He understands his role is to, get those hard rebounds, play solid defense, and make smart decisions on the court. He doesn't have to be that scoring machine. He understands that.
Desi Seals plays off the bench again, plays starters minutes as Desi played 31 minutes in last night's ball game. Shot at a very efficient clip, 5 of 9, 3 of 5 from the floor. Finished with 13 points, 4 rebounds. I mean, this is just a very complete game. I think, Jimmy Witt may not be each and every night go out and get you 20, but the defensive effort that he puts in, in the game plan, always drawing the assignment of the best offensive player from the opposing team. Last night, the job that he did, I believe it was the first time that Santiago Bascal had not hit a three-pointer in the ball game. And that speaks volumes when you're able to do that and take out pretty much Demetrius, their top player, and not let him get going. I mean, with that being the point guard, when the point guard's having trouble or struggling in a ball game, hence, he's the head of the ship, everything else is going to break down.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the kind of decision maker and the quarterback of the basketball team, if I had to use an analogy that people can kind of understand if you're football gurus. But he's a guy that makes things happen. And, that's another topic we were talking about. We were talking about what Arkansas was really missing if we had to say, a lot of people say rebounding, but you mentioned point guard. I was asking about Khalil. And, I was like, man, if Khalil was on this team, this would be a definitely dangerous team because Khalil could definitely hit a knockdown three, and he had great ball control. But, that was the one thing we said if we could fix. And, even looking at going back to Desi Seals and the amount of minutes and coming off the bench, I don't really think it matters coming off the bench.
No.
If you look at his minutes, he played a total of 31 minutes. He played starter minutes. So I think that's the greatness of Desi Seals. He can come off the bench, analyze the game real fast, get an understanding, and come in the game and really be an exclamation point off the bench.
Absolutely. And we caught up with a couple of the Arkansas players following their big home victory versus the Tennessee Volunteers. Caught up with Isaiah Joe, Mason Jones, and sophomore post Ethan Henderson. We'll let you hear what they had to say, and then we'll come back. The question of the day for all our viewers and listeners, and we want you to chime in. Is this basketball team got its mojo back, and are they ready to make a run in to win out, make a pretty deep run in the SEC tournament, and then get into the NCAA tournament? That's the question. Is this team back to the NCAA tournament team that they were prior to Isaiah Joe going down with that knee injury for those 5 games? Chime in, let us know your reasons, yes, no. I mean, which way are you going? But we always like hearing from our listeners, Demetrius. We got some of the best feedback, but we'll be right back. Here's our guys. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
Back on track.
Oh, yeah, it feels good, man, to get those wins. I feel like we're getting back on track. We've been fixing all our little problems that we've been having in the past and capitalizing on them in the future. We came into this game with a great game plan, and we executed it well, and that's why we got the win.
You were just coming in, but I was asking Isaiah, that's first back-to-back SEC wins for you guys in about 6 weeks. How good does that feel, and do you feel like the season's getting back on track now that you got Isaiah back?
Oh, yeah, for sure, We got our pro back, and you see how the season's going. This is what we was on before Zay got hurt. We was rolling, and we was 16-5, and we was starting to get things going. We lost to Kentucky by 5-6, but it was good things to go. And then we went to Ole Miss, won that game, and Zay got hurt, and that kind of set us back. But that really made us stronger as a team, going through a 5-game win streak. But now it's our turn. We feel like we've got to start getting it rolling, and we really taking this serious because this season serious because we know we want to do big things, so we want to get to the tournament. That's the goal.
I guess for the 2 guards, just limiting Vescovi was probably a priority coming into this game. I think he didn't finish with an assist tonight. Just the job that Jimmy did on him tonight.
Oh yeah, it was Jimmy had an assignment to limit Vescovi this game, and he did the best anybody could ever do. I mean, I think he limited. That was his first game not hitting a three-point shot this season. Jimmy is a great defender, and people don't see that. But I mean, that's what he does. He's gonna play both sides of the ball. He's gonna do what he's got to do to get the win.
All 3 of you guys. Well, you 2 first, and then Ethan, you're next. Ethan second, starting the last 3 games. career high 9 rebounds, 3 big blocks, and got you off early with some offensive rebounds. Talk about his performance tonight.
It's good to see Ethan doing Ethan things. You know, we saw this all summer, and we saw this in training camp. So we knew what he can bring us. But it was just the fact that the coach is starting to trust him, and Ethan finally trusting himself and trusting his work. Ethan is now starting to work out and do good things that we need him to do for this team. And you can see what the things he brings: good defense and good rebounding and a great rim running. So as long as he keep doing that and keep trusting himself, then he's going to be all right.
Yeah, like May said, I mean, we knew what we can do. This is just the first time the fans are seeing what he can do. We've known this whole year what he's capable of, and now that he's getting his time to shine, he took it to heart, and he knows he's got to perform every game he's out there, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's playing great defense. He's getting blocks, rebounds, offense rebounds, something that we really haven't been that good at all year is getting offensive rebounds, and he just brings energy to the team, and he got us off to a great start this game.
You had 4 offensive rebounds?
Yeah, I'm
That's crazy.
He tough.
I know I had 2 steals though. I don't know what they took.
Yeah, excuse him. He's a rookie.
Yeah, just Ethan, just about your performance, just getting the start and everything else. Just what did it do for your confidence tonight?
I think kind of boosted it a little bit. You know, be able to start is like be able to start at home is like a big thing. I'm from Arkansas, and it's my first time starting in Bud Walton, and I feel like I have more to prove. Like since I have no room for error, I just have to go out there and just play hard, get rebounds, block shots, do the things that that adds up at the end of the game.
Yeah, Mason, you got 1,000 points tonight. Well, not tonight, but for your career, and you're only the 8th guy to do it in 2 seasons at Arkansas. All the great players they've had. What would that mean to you? And just getting 37, I think that's your 9th 30-point game here in 2 seasons.
First, you got to give credit to God because I still go home and still dream that I'm still here. Because all the hard work that I didn't put in and all the trials that I went through just to get here, it's just amazing. I really can't just feel what I'm going through right now because I'm so glad we won. But probably when I get to the house, I'm going to really just dive in and be like, wow, I just scored 1,000 points. So I'm just happy that we got a win, and we on a 2-game winning streak, and that's how I like it, on the winning side, Just looking at my teammates have fun out there. You just see all people just having fun. You can see a new Desi. People not really seeing what he really brings. He's spreading the floor. He's like our P.J. Tucker. He's like Lou Williams. He comes off the bench, and he's killing now. Teams can't really guard his Euro step. They don't know what to give up. So it's just things that our team is bringing now. And having Zay back, we just go clicking at all terms. And then Ethan bringing what he bring, and Adriel continue bringing, Jimmy just being Jimmy, Jalen, just everybody just buying in now. And we all have one goal, is to make the tournament. And we know it's 1 game at a time. So it's not about my achievements. It's about a win and 2-game winning streak that we own. So.
And welcome back to On the Hill with Pat Jean Sports Talk Radio here on KDSJ 479. We let you hear audio from junior guard Mason Jones, sophomore shooting guard Isaiah Joe, and sophomore forward Ethan Henderson, following their big home victory versus the Tennessee Volunteers, 86-59. They were able to get some revenge and even out that series as Arkansas. They split that series home and home, with Tennessee winning their home game and Arkansas getting their home game as well last night to go to 6-9 on the year, 18-10. And our question was, with Isaiah Joe back, is this the team that you feel can win out? Now, and if they win out, Demetrius, you're talking about a 21-10 regular season. You have to anticipate that Arkansas, when they're healthy, having Isaiah Joe, they're 17-5 when he plays. You got to figure that you can get at least 1 or 2. That'll put you at 22 or 23. Should be good enough. I think Arkansas is going to have enough body of work to get in the NCAA tournament. But, who knows? I mean, the committee sometimes has shown that they can be real wishy-washy. Where are you at? Are you lukewarm? I mean, where are you at with them possibly making the NCAA tournament and getting on a run?
Like I said a couple of days ago, I think, from a storyline perspective, Arkansas is appealing. When you look at Mason Jones and you look at Isaiah Joe, Especially Isaiah Joe. A lot of guys that are in NBA have him highly ranked and speak highly of him and his shooting percentage. So
Right.
to me, I just think from a sales position, Arkansas is appealing to be in the NCAA tournament, and they know Arkansas likes to travel. So I think when you consider that in the resume that they could potentially put together with potentially winning out and then going a little run in the the SEC tournament, I think they could potentially put together a decent resume.
You have to make a note, this Razorback basketball team defensively is the number one defensive team as far as defending the three-point attempt, limiting teams to 25.4%. And I think, Demetrius, going forward, the three-point shot is a big-time factor in today's world of college basketball. If you're able to shoot the three or either defend the three, you're going to be in a lot of games. And I think that's the one thing that when we get into tournament play in the SEC and NCAA tournament or whatever postseason Arkansas gets to, their ability to defend that three-point line, I think, will play to their advantage. Plus, at the same time, Arkansas is going back with the addition of a healthy Isaiah Joe back to that five-guard lineup, and we all know how that worked in the early non-conference and the early part of the SEC conference season. Arkansas's matchup problems were presented, and as a result, they were able to get into a lot of transition when they went to that lineup, as they did last night. Now, rebounding, you have to feel good, Demetrius. They were out-rebounded by 31-28. Ethan Henderson, 9 offensive rebounds, but the biggest stat, 4 offensive rebounds. Those 4 offensive rebounds give you 4 more opportunities to score 8 or more points, and that's just something I think Arkansas really had been lacking inside is someone that's going to be real active, and like you said, Demetrius, understand their role.
Yeah, and I think that was something Ethan alluded to in the press conference where he was talking about things that he can do that are that add up, that aren't necessarily points, but they add to the scoreboard. He was speaking on his rebounding, and that was one thing Musselman really spoke about early on in the year, that they needed somebody that could really get them boards,
absolutely,
give them second chance opportunities to really score points.
You mentioned yesterday, and you asked me a question about Reggie Chaney. In watching last night's game, it's just a matter of still, I think the young man still gaining confidence and maturing. I just feel like he's got to get out of his own way, with the early foul trouble that he has seemed to always get into. It's kind of hard to get into a flow and really elevate your game when you're sitting on the bench with 1, 2, sometimes 3 quick fouls, and you're not even in 3 or 4 minutes. I think Reggie Chaney's activity, as well as Ethan Henderson and Adriel Bailey, if those 3 guys can come in there and do exactly as Muss would love, get those 8 to 9 rebounds, be real active around the glass, and score around the rim, this team really can make a run. I really, when I look at this, the next 3 games, kind of hard, Demetrius, when you think about it. Arkansas loses 8 out of 10. Who would have thought that they could be in a position to win out and finish 21-10, 9-9 in the league, but more so have a 5-game winning streak as opposed to right before having that 5-game losing streak? Talk about, the ups and downs and just how parity in college basketball has gone.
I mean, that just shows you how important injuries are to a team. You lose one key player, and it throws off the entire chemistry and the dynamics of your team. A lot of people look at it in football, but especially in basketball, with the roster being so short and small, and everybody's not built from top to bottom with elite players. So
absolutely,
sometimes when you lose that key role, it just changes the entire dynamics of what you can and can't do as a basketball team, and that can sometimes change your philosophy and make you do things you normally wouldn't do. So and that really, I think Stephen Wilson made a good point. He said he thinks the committee will take Isaiah Joe's injury into consideration, and
rightfully, I think they should. I really think they should. And we're gonna step away real quick. Come back with more of OTH. We caught up with head women's basketball coach Mike Neighbors. They travel to Starkville, Mississippi, where they take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Tip-off will be 7 p.m. This evening from the Hump in Starkville. Arkansas's women, Demetrius, they're already in the tournament. They're just playing for seeding. I think Arkansas is really going to try to get that 4 seed, because if you're in the girls, you get that 4 seed. Now you're talking about a double bye. You don't play until that Friday. It's a lot more fresher when hadn't been in this, they had been in that territory, but I really feel like they're going to, finish out very, very strong, and have a great season. That's what I'm looking for. But we caught up with Coach Neighbors. Here's what he had to say. We'll be back. It's on the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479.
Who had a lot to play for at a time when, because of growing up in the sports world and you learn how to set goals at a young age, goals get you. And that's why we don't have them. We don't have a goal to not play on Wednesday, to not get a double bye, to go to the NCAA tournament. We're all about standards and practicing to them and living up to them and traveling to them and preparing to them and having a great start to them. When we got to 9 wins, everybody around's patting them on the back. You're in the NCAA tournament. I'm saying it. I'm saying it to y'all. They're reading in the papers. They read it on social media. And because we're self-aware, the start of that game didn't mean as much to us as it did Florida, and it was very obvious. Now, after we got smacked in the face and we're down 19-5, it kind of got important, and we played good. There's way more positives in that game than there were negatives, except for that start that you mentioned. When's the last time y'all remember Chelsea denying a pass and getting a steal? She did it twice. Okay, so there's a lot of it, but we did get off to a bad start. I take full responsibility for that. Our team's won 21 games, and I've lost 6. There's no question in my mind. But that's a trade-off I'm willing to take every year in keeping our kids informed, to try to stay away from letting being 3rd place or 4th place be your goal. Just practice hard every day. Just show up to the training room every day. Just go to class every day. Just do all that stuff every day, and then you end up. Now, I will tell you, we spent 10 minutes, which is the longest I've talked to them in a long time, just like this, explaining to them what could have been. Because in life, we run out of chances of could have beens. We could have been playing for 2nd place tonight. And you talk about, nobody would have had that as a goal. So, in all retrospect, we go down 1 spot in the RPI. We move up a seed line in all the projected. So it's not end all be all. Sure, would we like to have won? Could tonight being for, or tomorrow night being for 2nd place, how massive would that have been? I want our kids fully aware of what could have been, so that sting is there, and it won't happen when they're going for a job interview some year. But slow start, a lot of good things, but nobody walked around here at all after we got back like.
Welcome back. Real quick, I have been really remiss today as not to show love to all of our sponsors, as this would not be possible without you all. That being said, Lindsay and Associates, with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. Locomotion, it's located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Corey Beck's Custom Painting. And lastly, you know where I'm going today, D? You guessed it. KDK's Chicken at 989 Razorback Road. Go see Keith and Kathy, get a plate of that love. And like they say on their food truck, not your mama's. They got the best chicken, waffles, you name it, French fries, whatever you want to eat. Keith and Kathy will definitely fix you up a very nice plate to enjoy. But real quick, came in with Mike Neighbors. Now there's a topic, as we put out a lot of topics, but I want to read off some of our fan interactions. Steve Wilson, he always brings the heat. Man, Coach Musselman is turning, Demetrius. He says Coach Musselman is turning Mason into a pro. I think you give that to the entire staff. When you have a Corey Williams who's played in the NBA, has a championship ring with Michael Jordan, Bulls back in '91, played it with the Timberwolves, Earl Boykins on staff, Clay Moser, and Chris Crutchfield. You have guys that have a track record of developing talent, knowing what it takes to get to the NBA level, and they're really, really starting to develop these kids. I think the biggest growth for Mason was his attention to watching film, his attention to detail, Demetrius. And I think, kids nowadays and athletes, you have to be a student of the game, and that's a real big word. You have to watch film, understand tendencies, because I'm of the belief separation has always been the key to preparation has always been the key to separation, Demetrius.
Yeah, I definitely think these guys added another level to Mason Jones's game. These guys just seem so much more skill oriented.
Right.
Like they analyzed these players and understood what these guys needed to improve on an individual basis. And that was something that really attracted me to Musselman's philosophies and the approach he took with the team. You can't come in thinking you can apply every drill and every routine to all the entirety of the team. Sometimes you have to get in and on the offseason work on things that these players individually need to grow in. And you can definitely see Mason took time to improve on his shooting, his ball handling.
Absolutely.
I think he improved across the board. The only thing I think he can still continue to improve on is his defense, because I think that's the thing that really separates NBA players is two-way players. Everybody can really score baskets in the NBA, but I think players that are two-way defenders and offensive players are the ones that really have a longevity in the league.
Ty Bordhoff has a great question, Demetrius. He says, we always traditionally play bad at A&M. Who knows what team will show up in the other games? We have to win at least have to get at least 2 wins in the NCAA tournament in the SEC tournament to make the NCAA tournament. I feel like last year Arkansas went to A&M and came away with a victory. I really feel like this team is a lot different. When Isaiah Joe is on the court, I think there's a different confidence that just flows through that ball club. And I think with the addition and confidence now starting to be gained by Ethan Henderson. We all know that Adriel Bailey is playing, having probably his best season as a Razorback. And it just so happens, and that's what you like, Demetrius. You want your best to come out your senior year. That's what you're getting defensively. This team can defend against anybody in the conference. And if you can't hit the 3 against Arkansas, they're going to be in a lot of games. Think about this. Arkansas, their 10 losses, 8 of those losses were by a combined total of 31 points. 31 points, Demetrius. 3 of those 4 losses at home to Arkansas, was by a combined 13 points. But the real common denominator was, and I think in all those losses, was Arkansas's inability to go to the free throw line and be very consistent. These last 2 wins, Mason Jones and Isaiah Joe went 24 of 27. Arkansas as a team went 27 out of 33. You're going to win games when you shoot free throws and you get to the foul line. I think that's what they're able to do. When you have Isaiah, you have the floor just spaces out in those driving lanes for Mason and Desi and Jimmy Wick getting in those sweet spots at mid-range. That all goes well, but we caught up post-game with Tennessee head basketball coach Rick Barnes. He's going to give you a little insight as to, how he felt the defensive performance went for his Vols. Here's Coach Barnes momentarily. We'll have that audio coming up. But Arkansas, in my opinion, will win the game on Saturday at Georgia. Arkansas, in my opinion, will go to A&M the following Saturday and win that game. And I think Arkansas, in my opinion, with the way LSU plays on senior night, this coming Wednesday, will win Adriel Bailey's last regular season game in Bull Walton Arena as a Razorback on Nola Richardson Court. This is just my humble opinion because I just, they're 17-5, and just you can tell with our availability last night, following the ball game and post game, that this is a different team now. The swagger's back. I think it was there was with this team being so young, Demetrius, sometimes you lose it a little bit when things don't go your way. But we're not going to have Rick Barnes. We'll not have Rick Barnes today. But we're going to go and catch a few more questions as we round this thing up. And who do we have? Steve Wilson says the committee, and I agree with you, Steve, the committee will most definitely take into account that that Isaiah Joe was not on the basketball team during those 5 losses. Because when you think about it, they win at least 3 of those 5, in my humble opinion. They beat Mississippi State. They beat the Auburns. In my humble opinion, I think Arkansas at least gets 2 of those victories on the road.
I have to agree. I'll at least give you 2. I can't really point out what those 2 should be, but I definitely give those guys 2 with Isaiah Joe, because I at least give minimum 15 points.
Right.
So you add 15 points to either one of those 5 scores, and I think you get a W.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to wrap today up. We got to make our way up to basketball media availability, as Coach Eric Musselman will be meeting with the media to preview this Saturday's ball game as they travel to Athens, Georgia, to take on the Georgia Bulldogs. And that's always, Demetrius, I'm talking about when Arkansas plays at Georgia, it's always one of those really, really close games. I believe 3 of the last 4 trips down to Athens have resulted in overtime ball games. The only one that didn't was 2015 when Arkansas came away 79-75 winners on the road. So, I anticipate, and, they got a guy that's some projecting to be the number one pick in the draft in Anderson. But, you kind of like when you have a guy like Jimmy Witt that can defend at the high level, that he can. And Coach Eric Musselman said it weeks ago that he's an NBA defender on the basketball court. That's the level that he defends. I've just been really impressed with Jimmy's defense. If Arkansas can continue to, like I said, Demetrius, guard that three-point line, make it tough, this is going to be a very, very serious team to, make a really good run in the postseason.
Yeah, I really hope these guys do get a chance to go in the postseason. I really don't want to see Musselman go into NIT. I think this is a special year for Musselman and some of the things. Even when you think about just Nolan Richardson and with the unveiling of the court and the renaming of the court, I just think it's a special year, and I think it'd be icing on the cake if we can get it. Even if we go to the NCAA and lose one game, I think the thing about it is I think these guys understand what they're playing for from a team perspective. And I think Mason and Isaiah understand that if they still can put a resume together, they still have a chance to get drafted to the NBA. So I still think if these guys go to the tournament, it's going to be something special. I think they can go on a decent little run.
Now, real quick, Demetrius, could you tell – we have a lot more social media platforms that you can be a part of and hear all of the content from On the Hill Sports Talk. And could you tell them, where – our listeners can go find any content that they might want to on OTH?
Definitely. First, we can start with Spotify. If you search on Spotify, On the Hill Sports Talk, you will see all the latest episodes and some previous year episodes. We are located on iHeartRadio, so just type in On the Hill Sports Talk Podcast, and we will pop up. Also, our YouTube page, if you can, go subscribe to us on YouTube. That's On the Hill Sports Talk LLC, or you can check out Sauced Up Entertainment LLC on YouTube, and you'll see all the latest info on us, some behind the scenes, and we will be dropping an On the Hill Sports Talk app very soon. So anybody that wants to subscribe and get exclusive information, we will have that very soon. Vlogs, write-ups, all that good stuff on the Razorbacks and other things around the SEC and just sports in general.
We told you we was going to come out and start swinging for the fence in 2020, and I think that's what we're doing. Demetrius does a great job. I still think he's the best in the business, and we're really blessed and grateful to have him. But that's going to wrap up our show today as we're going to make our way up for Eric Musselman's post-game press conference as he's going to preview this upcoming road trip to Georgia. We'll have all that information in tomorrow's show, plus much, much more. Real quick, want to give a shout-out to our sponsors. That being said, Lindsay & Associates with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. Locomotion, located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Corey Beck's Custom Painting. And lastly, I'm on my way there here shortly, and I hope to see you guys there soon as well. Go down to 989 South Razorback Road where you can catch up with KDK's Chicken. Get in touch with Keith and Kathy, get a plate of that love, and like they say, it's not your mama's. They got the best chicken and waffles in the South. I'll go ahead and say it. But that's going to wrap it up for us today here on OTH. You guys have a blessed day, and we'll see you tomorrow. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.